including cocoa as our priority, coffee, oil palm, and rubber. So those are the 4 priority crops under the tree crop. Soon we will be able to provide the advisory services and the inputs to farmers in those areas. In the case of coffee and cocoa, the emphasis is on rehabilitation, starting with rehabilitation of all of those farms that were established and have grown up. Very few of them are now producing. In the case of oil palm, it's taking down those old palm and replanting. In the case of rubber, it's also encouraging replanting, because you and I know most of the rubber farms owned by Liberians are just being planted there. Unfortunately, even with the high price of rubber, now we're talking about what government should do. I am sorry my fellow panelists is not here from the rubber sector, because we need to talk about what these rubber farmers need to do for themselves. At the current price of rubber, you tell me why Liberians cannot clean out their rubber farms. Why can't they hire all of this labor force to clean their rubber farms and replant? At the price of rubber, Liberians can afford to replant their rubber, Liberian rubber farmers, so that we have new rubber coming in with increased production. Maybe they cannot all afford to do so, but the majority of them can. And I think the tendency to wait to see what government will do to help us is not one of those things that we, as rubber farmers, and the price of rubber today, we should be talking about. We should be working together to see what, with government, we can together do to help ourselves. I can hear this from the coffee and cocoa farmers and the oil palm farmers that need to take everything down and start, because they have not reached to the point of production where things fell apart. But those are our 4 areas in the tree crop. In the small-scale agro-industry, I hear you, and working with the Ministry of Commerce, we are doing everything we can to encourage local investment through government and to also see if we can attract investment from others. I was so happy to know that you were such a big vegetable farmers, and I'm going to take you up on that. Together we're going to work on producing vegetables in our greenhouses, starting with that, because I know that's what you like, and I encourage that too, so that we can put it into these markets and not have to wait for it to be imported. When it comes to rice, yes, we do have all of the challenges with small farmers being scattered all around and having difficulty to get their produce to market. But in the case of rice, we have made good advances. And here I must thank the Japanese government. Even with their difficulty, they did not decrease their support. In fact, they increased it. With the support from the Japanese and with the funding matched by the government of Liberia, if a rice farmer tells me I have rice to sell and I cannot sell it, I say, prove it. You cannot prove that, because working with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry for the last 2 years now, we have been able to go into all of those rural areas. We have been able to pay farmers cash for their rice. We have been able to hire the women who produce the rice to do the processing, increasing their incomes. When When you see rice in the bag today that says produce of Liberia and is on the market, it is not the Ministry of Agriculture staff, it's those very big producers. It is the private sector that's responsible for all of that processing and bagging of that rice. And with the funding from the Japanese and the Liberian government, that rice is transported and delivered into the hands of our Ministry of Commerce. So I hear you when you talk about the challenges of marketing, or nothing saddens me more when people have to produce and their produce rot. But this is why we are happy for the trade at end with the telephone. We have more text messages from farmers than anybody else. Anybody. They may not be able to spell the words, but they tell you, rice. That's enough for us. And then we forward money to their telephones to pay them for that call. And then we go and find their rice. So we are getting there. It is slow. But let us not forget, as we talk about the setbacks in the agricultural sector, that this is one of the hardest sectors to rebuild. It is science-based, and it was so totally destroyed. So we are crawling, but we are crawling and working and making improvement at the same time. In less than 5 years, Liberia got to the point starting with 50 tons of seed rice from the USAID and 15 tons of seed rice from FAO to 2010 when we declared